Okay, we're going to get started here. Thank you all for joining us. I know this was a little bit of short notice, but we wanted to do this weekly weather briefing today to capture a bit of the event that's going to be unfolding later on this afternoon through the evening hours and even into tomorrow. So we will jump right into things. The main messages that we want to go over is first that we have a flash flood watch that has been issued for far north Georgia. And so what we're expecting is multiple rounds of moderate to heavy rain that will impact portions of north Georgia through Thursday afternoon. So what we're really expecting with that is around 2 to 4 inches with locally or higher amounts possible, maybe across the higher terrain. So with that, flash flooding and river flooding is possible. The main front associated with this system will move through central Georgia by late Thursday. Looking beyond this point real briefly is that we have high pressure building into the area late Thursday as the front is exiting off the southeast coast. High pressure will be in control through Monday, and then we have the next cold front that will be crossing the area on Tuesday. It doesn't look to be too strong, and it looks to actually cross pretty quickly. High pressure will build back into the region Wednesday through Thursday of next week. So current conditions out there, this is showing a satellite image. Some of the fronts across Texas into Oklahoma. We actually are having a warm front that's going to be lifting across the area, and that's giving a portion of the south and southeast some rain. And we will continue to see the speed of moisture that's going to be moving through the area, especially North Georgia, through the afternoon into the evening hours. And then that main front will be crossing into the region. So that is why we issued a flash flood watch, because we think we're going to have these multiple rounds of precipitation moving through. And this could be expanded further south if that warm front, that boundary, doesn't move as far north. If it sags a little bit further south, that moisture moving along this boundary may actually occur just north of I-20, maybe towards Rome, Canton, and into Gainesville. And so for the areas that do have the flash flood watch out right now, we still are expecting 2 to 4 inches of rain, locally or higher amounts. These amounts may fluctuate just depending on exactly where the moisture is running across. It could be upwards towards Tennessee, or like we were speaking before, a little bit further to the south. So we'll see how this all plays out. But in that region for right now, we anticipate some flash flooding issues, river flooding issues are possible as well. So when we're discussing multiple rounds of precipitation, really getting into the afternoon, late afternoon into the evening hours tonight, and then possibly a brief reprieve early tomorrow morning into, around maybe 9 a.m. or so before the main front actually works its way in. So we actually might see a diminish in activity early tomorrow morning. The last round of precipitation will move through the afternoon tomorrow, and that's associated with the main front itself. And that's where we have the marginal risk for severe weather, and we'll jump into that in just 1 second. But I did want to just point to some of the model data that we're looking at. And so we're looking into this evening, and then this is getting into the overnight into tonight, and then early tomorrow morning. And as you can see across North Georgia, we actually have, it looks like more scattered showers across the area. And so things look to diminish a little bit in coverage. But then when we get into more of the, now we're getting into the early afternoon hours tomorrow, and then that's when we're going to start to see the front working its way through the area through the afternoon tomorrow. And that's when we're going to see the potential for the marginal risk for severe thunderstorms. So we'll just jump right back into the PowerPoint here, and we'll kind of go through that. In terms of storm total precipitation, what we have across far north Georgia is around 2 to 4 inches of precipitation, locally or higher amounts, about 1 to 1.5 inches from Rome west towards Gainesville, around 1/2 to 1 inch in the Atlanta area towards Athens, and then less than 1/2 inch south of I-20 getting into central Georgia. We always are going to say that the forecast is subject to change because in reality, when it comes to precipitation and forecasting, it can be a bit of a challenge. So keep monitoring the forecast. Some values, we may see it tick down a little bit or maybe tick up just north of Atlanta. So just want to watch out for that, as the axis of heavy moisture could move north or south of the area. So that's something that we're going to keep an eye on. In terms of hydrologic impacts, I did want to show you all this. It's really a great decision support tool that we have here that really highlights some of the locations that we're going to be seeing the potential for flooding. So as you can see on the right-hand side, we have the legend, but basically we're not seeing any rivers right now in flood stage, but we do see a couple that could go into minor flooding across the far northwest here, as this area might see the most precipitation, upwards of 4 inches or so. So the forecast is for them to go into minor flood stage, getting into tomorrow afternoon and even into Friday. So we will continue to monitor that, but we at least wanted to show you that there could be some river flooding in those areas, such as New England, Chickamauga, Tilton, Somerville. Those are the locations that we're really keeping an eye on. Although as more precipitation moves into the area, we could see more points that are going to be going into flood. So just keep an eye on conditions if you are in those areas. Moving on to talking a little bit more about the SPC outlook and our potential for any severe thunderstorms. Again, we have the marginal risk associated with that main front that's going to be working its way through the area Thursday afternoon. So with this main line, there could be strong or really heavy showers, and that's going to bring the wind down a bit and thunderstorms. So the main impact being isolated damaging wind gusts and a possible brief tornado. We might have conditions that may support that brief tornado, although the threat looks to be fairly low. We want to make sure everybody knows that's a possibility. So the heavy rain will move off the southeast, and we'll show you timing here actually. So the potential impact levels, damaging wind getting up to the moderate, tornado between low and moderate, large hail this should not be an issue, and then flooding associated with the ongoing precipitation across the north. This should be a pretty quick moving front Thursday afternoon. So really heavy downpours associated with that main front, but the flooding that we're worried about is mainly across the north with the ongoing precipitation into tonight. So the timing with this front looks to be around 11 a.m. tomorrow across the northwest here, and then slowly working its way to the southeast through the afternoon into the later afternoon period, should be off out of our area by tomorrow evening. So just to speak briefly on what happens after this point, obviously today into tomorrow we're dealing with that system that will move through. By Friday, we have great high pressure building in, so it'll hopefully drive things out. Should be a pleasant weekend in store as high pressure builds into the area. Eventually, it will work its way offshore by Monday night, ahead of the next front that's going to be moving its way through the area on Tuesday. Again, this looks like a quick hitter as high pressure builds back in shortly thereafter. So the 6 to 10 day outlook is showing that conditions will be wetter and cooler than normal. So that continues into the 8 to 14 day outlook. So while we had temperatures breaking records in many locations last week, things look to be going more towards normal, maybe just below normal for our at least about 14 days or so. I did want to mention that because temperatures are going to be dropping into the low 30s, mid to low 30s across the northern tier of Georgia this weekend, frost may be an issue, especially early Sunday. And so just to keep an eye on that as things are starting to grow, are already starting to blossom out there. It's just we've had really warm temperatures, so that's something to keep an eye on. It's funny, we were talking about so much rain and now we're talking about drought, but we just wanted to show you the latest outlook. Actually, the drought monitor should be updated tomorrow, and what we're anticipating is that the far northwest here should really come down in terms of severity. But those across central Georgia and even getting into southern Georgia, just not getting enough precipitation. We may still see a lot of locations abnormally to moderate drought conditions. So just in summary, we have the flash flood watch that is in effect through Thursday afternoon, so tomorrow afternoon, across far north Georgia. Multiple rounds of moderate to heavy precipitation is expected to continue into tomorrow, possibly into tomorrow morning, but really think there'll be a reprieve tomorrow morning ahead of the next cold front that will move through on tomorrow afternoon. High pressure will build back into the region Friday through Monday, the next cold front moving through on Tuesday, and then high pressure building back Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So that is it for us here for the weekly weather briefing. If there are any questions, we would love to take them at this time.